Hello, everybody. I'm Michael Monaco.
And I'm Bobby Salveson, and we are the Hazmat Guys, bringing you the knowledge and insight to make your job a little bit easier.
Before we get into the show, let's thank today's sponsors.
The Hazmat Guys would like to thank our sponsor, Rigaku Analytical Devices. Rigaku Analytical Devices reduce fluorescence interference when identifying unknown chemicals using the 1064 advantage of the Progeny Rescue. Visit rigakuanalytical.com to learn more.
HazSim training systems have been in use across North America since 2011. Hazmat teams, firefighters, confined space specialists, and industrial safety trainers alike have found the value in the HazSim Pro system. HazSim brings real information-based decision-making to students from instructors safely and realistically. No more burning up sensors or pretending a 3x5 card is a meter in training. Visit hazsim.com for realistic training solutions.
Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 81. Today we are going to be chatting a little bit about tips to performing better in a level A suit.
Oh, it's good to be back, man. It feels like we've been gone for so long.
It has.
Probably because we have, actually.
It has. I mean, I know everybody, we do this once a week, but a little pull back the curtain, take down the fourth wall type thing. We don't actually record every week. So I don't think I've sat in this audio studio in about 3 or 4 weeks. So.
And yeah, and you can tell you're a little rusty. I gotta say, you suck.
I'm always rusty.
What do we got?
Oh man, I would like to just give everyone a quick reminder to go onto our website and purchase some shirts. We're not doing coffee mugs anymore. Sorry, everybody. They, we send them out and we get pictures of crushed mugs. So I don't know why everybody else can get a mug delivered and the UPS store doesn't seem to like us very much. So
it'd be funny if we were actually sending out crushed mugs.
Pay extra for that. Send out the mugs with with glue.
Yeah, just a whole thing. Yeah, put it back together. It's $1 off. That'd be awesome.
Oh, we could charge twice as much as the jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh.
We have one iTunes review that I kind of liked. It was called Dropping Science by a guy named Busted Map, or Busted, I think it might be. And he said, I've been a hazmat specialist in California for over 10 years. These guys bring great knowledge and experience and can help learn or review in ways that other firefighters get. Like 3 other New York guys says, dropping science like Galileo dropped the orange, which I believe he's saying about, what is he? Neil Tyson. What's that guy's name? The astrophysicist.
Oh, Neil deGrasse.
Yeah, he says that. And keep up the stellar work, brothers. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Busted. Nice stuff.
It's amazing how far we can go on smoke and mirrors.
Oh, my God. If they only knew.
They only knew. They only knew.
So, well, I'll just get it real quick. Don't donate to us anymore. Just visit the sponsors. We have great sponsors that come onto the show. They do the right thing for us so we can keep it free for you. And so just check out those who are sponsoring us and see what they got, what they're about. If you go to a show, check out their wares because they have some pretty good stuff. If we're putting them on the show, they got something that we dig.
Yes.
And it's not money. I'm telling you that right off the bat. We said it before. We mean it to be true. Is that we stand by you more than we stand by the money as in any case. So,
let them know you heard about them through us, especially if it's a new technology that's out there. Be like, hey, I heard about you guys on the Hazmat Guys, so I just wanted to check you out. It just it helps keep the show running. It helps keep credibility high.
All right, so let's get right into this level A thing. This ensemble that you speak of.
Big words.
We talk about. Let's go first off into the pre-donning. Like before we even get the gear on, do we even need? That should be the first thing you say. Is do we need to put these things on?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be in these things.
No.
Because and we say this over and over and over again. If I'm talking to a firefighter, and most everybody that we're talking to is, if I say, hey, listen, bro, get geared up and get ready to go inside. You can get unassisted, 3 minutes, you're top to bottom, you're turtled up. But if I tell you, hey, get into level A, it takes 6 guys, 20 minutes, and I don't know. I mean, like, what's the mission? And there's a million questions to ask, but what's the risk versus benefit
What
on this.
and we say risk, and sometimes people look at us like we have three heads, and they're like, "Well, the risk is the chemical," and we're like, "No, there's so much more that goes into risk benefit analysis than just what is my chemical." Like I'm getting in a level A, right? So I can't see, I can't hear, I can't smell. I've lost literally all of my five senses except some of my vision, and I do stress some, right? I'm inside my own self-contained environment, so in reality, my core body temperature is going to go through the roof. I can't see anything. I'm most likely going to trip and fall at some point at the worst possible moment. So those are your risks that you need to associate with your level A, and say to yourself, is me being in a level A going to outweigh the risk of whatever the risk to me as a first responder for this chemical?
Right.
So yeah, I think you got to be able. I think you got to really be able to justify it. Like I think it's so much more than just, oh, it's a chemical. Like you have to sit and question it. And if you're new to a team, we anybody we try to tell to think like a baby, right? Think like a child. Uh, Me and Bob both have children, and they all go through that stage where everything is why. They question everything. They don't walk into a situation with any preconceived notions. And that is really what we have to start doing as first responders, is not walk in with preconceived notions. Not hear ammonia and go, ooh, that's a level A chemical.
Right. There is no chemical that I know of that is an automatic level A, because I can split hairs with the best of them and say, well, in that chemical, in an outdoor situation with a 30-mile-an-hour wind, it's not level A anymore.
Right.
I can go with the best of them and crush it, because it's not always. You don't always go with that hair trigger. But anywho.
But if we are going to get into a level A, there are definitely some things that we want to do to make sure our experience in the level A is top notch and as professional as possible. And it absolutely starts before we even break the suits out. And one of the first things that we need to do is we need to check the last test date. Guys, these suits don't last forever, mainly because the manufacturers want you to buy more. All right, let's just call a spade, right? Plastic really isn't, we've been told that it takes 10 million thousand years for that plastic bag flapping in the tree to break down, yet our suits only last a couple of years. But either way, no matter what the actual reason is, we need to check to make sure that the expiration date on that suit is where it is. And more importantly than the expiration date, we need to make sure that the last pressure test on the suit is within the proper date, because that's really what we're after. This is a vapor tight ensemble, and without that test, we cannot guarantee that that suit is vapor tight.
Well, speaking of the test, one of the things they do is they put in these one-way kind of like check valves, right?
What valves?
All right, so every time you get a brand new suit, you're supposed to be pressure testing that suit. And so since the air that we use or we breathe in our suit needs a place to go, eventually it would like kind of pressurize the suit. So there's like this one-way pressure valves that, and again, depending on the manufacturer, they're usually like in the back of your shoulder or the back of the head, but they will allow air to come out and nothing to come back in. They're like a positive pressure. So when they get tested by your department or whoever tests your things, they put like plugs into these valves. And sometimes they forget to take them out. Somebody goes on break or whatever it might be, and they leave those valves in. So we just quickly check them before we put the suit on. There's nothing worse than going down range and then looking like the Michelin Man, like you cannot. Yeah, and it doesn't matter how hard you kind of try to pop. They're designed to hold the air in at a pressure greater than the suit. So don't try to do that, and you can't reach back and just start swatting at these things.
Yeah, and that's considered a true emergency if your suit starts to puff up like that, because it can screw up your eardrums. All sorts of nasty shit happens when you put yourself under pressure and then all of a sudden remove it. It's there's more that could come in your suit as well. If your suits are new, All right, you could have all sorts of packaging crap that's associated with a suit, whether it be like a desiccant package. Did I say that right? Desiccant?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, they're the little silicone do not eat packets that I feed to my kids. They love them. Sprinkle them on their cereal. They're delish. And then you also have the film quite often that's over the actual window. These need to be peeled down. Just, it keeps the window from getting scratched while it's in storage. But just take a look over the suit. Remove anything that shouldn't be there. Tags, whatever the case may be. There's always something.
Yeah, and sometimes these suits, depending on your manufacturer, once again, will have like a second window, and it's a second window that pretty much prevents fogging, and it depends on what you'd have, but most of the time it goes on the inside, and it really works pretty well. If you have it, use it, but don't do it the first time. Practice with it one shot,
because you try sticking it on and you put it on crooked and the whole thing kind of goes out the window, and then you got two windows that are fogged up. Definitely not fun. All right. Number 6 maybe? Dress comfortably. All right. There is nothing out there that says what you have to wear inside of your level A. All right. So dress to be comfortable. I am not saying don't go in with pants or long sleeve shirts or even naked. Well, minus the SCBA, because trust me, the last thing you want to do is have this suit plucking at your ass hairs while you're trying to operate. It's not comfortable. It doesn't work. It's not nearly as much fun as it sounds, but dress comfortably. I know some people that have a set of scrubs, all right, from the EMS days. Scrubs are very, very comfortable inside a level A suit. Loose fitting, they're light, they don't add to the heat, and yet they keep that kind of rubber off of your legs and your hair. So find something that you like, throw it in your bag, have it with you at all times, and you can jump in and out of it at will.
No, another part is knowing the chemical is compatible with the material that you're picking. And this goes anywhere from usually the gloves on the outside all the way through the whole ensemble. And remember that the ensemble is rated as a package. So the boots are not part of this ensemble. However, they are kind of, I guess, ergo part of the ensemble. And a lot of times you'll put like, or at least we'll put some gloves over the top of the outside of the level A suits, not to do anything, but just to tighten up the fingers and give us a little dexterity back. We'll do it, and if it burns off or it falls apart, so be it. Not a big deal. But you really kind of got to know the breakthrough time that it takes for the chemical to pass through that clothing sample until it's first detected by some type of analytical instrument. And whatever that instrument is, it's not time to test it out when you're going down range.
Yeah, and there's a couple of different things that you should keep in your mind when you're doing the research. One of them is a permeation rate. All right, and what the permeation rate is that's the actual speed at which the chemical will pass through a clothing sample. All right, so it's an actual physical piece it hasn't been rubbed, it hasn't been ripped, it hasn't been torn, and the chemical actually flows through it. All right, this is what you would consider kind of the breakthrough time. Right.
And remember that wearing long sleeve and long pants inside a level A is required, right?
What?
No. No. Just joking. I had you there. They are actually not. There's nothing saying that they have to be worn cotton or any type of synthetic. Neither is a hood, Nomex hood, or even bunker gear. There's nothing written anywhere that we can find anywhere that says you have to wear that stuff.
Yeah, but remember, if you want to keep your ass hair, I recommend putting something on.
Right. Now, hydration is another big point of this thing, and I'm going to go on a little bit of a soapbox on this one because I believe very firmly that hydration is one of the keys to our operation, and especially in the summer months, we are not in the NFL or the pro whatever team. If I tell the guy that's in football, hey, listen, you got a game on Sunday at 1 p.m., he can hydrate, he can prepare all week long. But if I'm up on my roof and it's 95 degrees and I call, hey, listen, mutual aid to XYZ County, and I got to jump in a car and shoot over there and I get a level A right away, how good do you think I am? I mean, let's say I'm not even drinking. There's nothing illegitimate going on, how good do you think I am? And if I am not up to par, what's the odds you're going to miss that 1 in a million entry? So, like, really, you have to set some criteria where maybe there's a pre-medical screening to say, are you good? And yeah, I'm good. Well, then it's on you because you're going to be the guy that's going to go down, and then we have to pull you out. And that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's no good.
Without a doubt. Hydration is so important, especially on those slightly warm days. Think about it. Anything more than like 60, 70 degrees out, when you put on a level A suit, you operate, you literally have a puddle of sweat at the bottom of your boots. All right? So to be really hydrated is super important because you're going to lose so much moisture just in the process of whatever you're doing that you need to be almost to the point of like, my stomach hurts from drinking so much before you jump into one of these level A's. Really, it's not even, and who cares? You're going to piss a half hour later? You might as well just piss in your pants. You're going to be soaking wet anyway. No one will know the difference.
Good point. Well, another thing is roles and responsibility and who is taking charge. It isn't a pound your chest kind of thing. We have very limited time. We have very limited communications. So before you even jump in the suit, who is taking the lead? I don't care who it is. Just call it out. And then maybe even the second guy, because what happens if the first guy has to go out because of low air or he got hurt? Who's the next guy? It's not time to start doing rock, paper, scissors in the hot zone to figure out who's the next up.
Although that should be a drill we add to our repertoire. Rock, paper, scissors in a level A. I like it. All right. Come up with a game plan. All right. All right. If you know what you're going into, right? If you're not using level A as a recon, and even if you are, come up with a game plan. All right. Even the most routine action in a level A requires some form of pre-plan. Just having an idea of the goals that you want to accomplish, it helps make things so much easier because everybody is on the same page. And now half that communication of trying to explain to the guy next to you what you're doing is gone. You just kind of working and doing your normal thing.
And probably the last of this whole donning thing is to go through the tools that you're going to be using. And I don't mean, listen, Joe's real good with tools. He knows what I want. Your plan with your team requires certain things. And if Dan or Joe, whoever the hell's packing up your tools, puts the wrong tools in there that you're not going to use. First off, you're carrying the wrong amount of weight. You're hauling stuff you're never going to use. And second off, you're probably not going to have the tools that you actually have in your mind. So in all reality, you're probably going to have that recon team go down there, whether it's you or somebody else, and they're going to say, you have valve A and it's going in this direction. Maybe they got some pictures. You formulate your team, your idea with your team, and then you come back and you pick the tools. Do your own tools.
Yeah. Like if you're walking up to a train car, the chances are you're not using a 2 or 8 millimeter wrench. Like, figure that shit out before you go up so you're not carrying around stuff you don't need. All right, sorry. All right, next, we're going to move on to the actual donning process. So when we are donning, some things that you want to keep in mind. One, you guys, everybody who's getting dressed, you want to go at the same pace together. You don't want to jump ahead and get zipped up or put your mask on, and then you're sitting there while somebody else is having a problem that's getting dealt with, and now you're either on air wasting time or you're 99% sealed up, already starting to heat up, already starting to sweat, already starting to get yourself exhausted. So go at the same pace and go together all the time.
Another one is going to be where you put your rag. And do we need a rag? I would say yes. It doesn't really weigh all that much. Me personally, I like to put my rag. This is the rag to wipe your shield, right? Mm-hmm. The humidity builds up in there, and if it gets foggy, which it probably won't if you're using a new suit, you're going to need something to wipe it down with. And the easiest way is to take your hood or some rags and just kind of stuff it in there. I like to put it on my shoulder strap. Mike, what about you?
I like to put it on my actual head, right kind of in the SCBA meshing. We don't really wear bump helmets, so it's easily accessible there. And then I can just kind of bend my head over and rub it onto the window like those kids on the short bus. And the same could be done on your SCBA regulator. If you were able to tape or put something on there, you could just go ahead and like lick the window.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You can also just take like the scuba diving defog and you put it on your shield and your face piece, both inside and outside, for the face piece and inside only for the shield. You don't know the chemical compatibility of the outside, so why even waste it?
Yeah, don't put it on the front. I wonder if you could bring in those the big desiccant packets. You know, like the moisture buckets. Could you imagine like bringing one of those in and it just sucks everything right out? I wonder if anyone's
like
tried that.
Like a Flavor Flav big clocker in your neck kind of thing?
Yes. Yes, just the giant desiccant package. That'd be great.
That's so stupid. All right, so make sure everything is comfortable. Don't rush in there. This is like, like the small pebble in your shoe or that little piece of the wire wheel that gets stuck in your sock. It doesn't seem like a very big deal, but walking on it for the first few minutes and you think it's like, oh my God, I got a meteorite in my shoe. It starts to hurt. So check it out before. Maybe do a lap, a circle, whatever. Just stand there for a second.
Yeah, no shit, because once you're actually in that level A and you're down range, anything that bothers you, you can't fix. So really, make sure you're comfortable before you proceed.
And you know what? If you got radios, this is the time to swap out for fresh batteries. Take it right off the charger, put them right in there. If you have radio comms, put fresh batteries on. This is not the time to figure out your comms go down because of some minor little thing. So with that being said, let's take a minute to hear about today's sponsor. Attention Hazmat Nation, class is in session. FLIR, a global leader in CBRNE detection solutions, has recently announced a new educational resource named FLIR Primed. Primed is a free online tool that provides first responders with training videos, best practices, field checklists, and street truth. Throughout the initial 10-episode video series, Grant Coffey, a retired fire and rescue hazmat team coordinator and CBRNE expert of nearly 40 years, delivers industry insights and real-life experiences that keep first responders prepared. In addition, each episode concludes with a free field checklist or downloadable guide that responders can use immediately, like the Prime training poster that covers these key actions of prepare, recognize, input, monitor, experience, and decision. You can watch it now by visiting www.flir.com/primed.
All right, great. Let's pick up where we left off. All right, we went through the pre-donning process. We went through the donning process. Now we're going to actually be talking about operating. And when we're operating in a level A, one of the things we always want to do is be extremely diligent and deliberate with every single action that we take.
Yeah, and not an and, but you plan your next move. Try to be as efficient as possible because when you go down, we kind of act like divas. Getting stressed out. I only eat the green M&Ms and all the other jazz. But don't waste your movement. Be as cool as possible. You're trying to extend your operation and be as comfortable downrange as possible. So it's kind of important to really minimize everything.
Yeah, you know what goes right along with that?
What?
Controlling your breathing. This is so important to control your breathing, all right? And it's more than just for good air conservation, right? If you can control your breathing, you're also controlling your mind and you're keeping yourself calm and focused all at the same time. Breathing control is so vitally important in a level A.
I know this one's going to bring up a lot, but meters. We're in the level A. We're going down range. We're going down range to something that requires us using a level A. Do we bring our meters?
Ooh.
Now, I'll start this whole avalanche going. Now, I am going to say yes. All right, and this is my reasoning why I would say yes. And I think Mike's a no. Are you a no?
I'm an it depends.
Okay. I'm going to say more than likely yes. I won't say it's a definite yes because that's just ridiculous. But I would say more than likely yes, and here's why. Because if I'm going into something, it's toxic. Is it going to be flammable, Mike?
Do you want, for the sake of this conversation, to say no, not flammable? Because I don't think there's anybody out there that would argue that if you have any remnants of flammability.
No, I'm going to say that it's going to be a toxic and not flammable.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because I've done, even if it's flammable, I've done my ventilation to bring it to a point where I can get in the suit and make it viable.
Okay. But,
you know what I'm saying? You can't have both.
No, but I would, if it is definitely flammable, right? I agree with you. Ventilating is huge. Changing that air out is one of the first things we try to do. But
Right.
I want to just have a backup. Like, I want to have an alarm to let me know, hey, something has happened.
Yes.
Like, my ventilation has failed and my flammability is rising.
Yes.
You know, it's like starting to rise. So if we're dealing with flammables, I definitely think that you got to have something with you.
Oh no, that's one of the reasons why I want it, is because if I'm going in there and something changes, then I want to know about it. You know, what if it's a corrosive atmosphere? I'll burn the meter. It's cool. If I'm blowing $1,500 on a suit, I have no problem burning a $150 sensor.
Right, because it's not the meter. You're not destroying the meter.
No, it's the sensor.
It's the sensor.
Because the thing's just going to shut off, and it's going to go into safe mode. It's not like these meters just turn into mush and goo in your hands once they hit corrosives. They don't do that. They draw it up and they say, holy cow, I'm melting, and it just shuts the sensor off electronically. And then it just sits there. It does nothing. So I'm going to have my pH paper on my left, my pH paper on my right. I'm going to have my 5-gas or 4-gas, whatever the hell you got, my PID, whatever. And I'm going to go until I have that trigger level, or maybe not the trigger level. That's probably more right. If I walk into a point where I get an LEL, I have to stop and say, why do I have an LEL? And I have to say to myself, is our ventilation not operational? Is it not doing what it's supposed to do? And maybe I'm going to say, hey, open that window. It closed because of the wind or whatever the hell happened. And I'm going to continue that ventilation, maybe exit. Or I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to go back out to where it is clear and drop my meter right there. And if it, in some point in the future, starts, I know I have an expanding incident. Does that make sense?
That would be something that I would more consider. Like, I wouldn't be so quick just to like take the meter, throw it around my neck, and keep it with me all the time. But you're right. Like, if I have let's use chlorine for example, right? Non-flammable, so I'm not really worried about flammability at all. All right. I know that I've got chlorine, so why the freak am I bringing it in with me? Like, I know I have a chlorine leak. I know that. But yet, I do want it somewhere to let me know it's getting worse, and I also want it easily accessible for once I think I've fixed the situation.
Right. This goes, this kind of reminds me of when, and not to draw into the fire side because not everybody's into it, but, we always go and we start from the source out, and we monitor from the source out. And that's really not the way you want to do. If I have a fire in a building and I have an exposure that's going to go on fire, where do I put that protection line? I put it on the building and work my way back to the source. So why in hazmat do we do it opposite? It comes down to really starting out at that, the nunnery that's, that you make gasoline in.
Right.
And I work my way back to the chlorine leak, and it makes more sense because it's just a smarter operation. So there's no reason for us to go right to the source and start monitoring our way back out.
Unless you're trying to find a leak.
Maybe, but but I wouldn't be bringing my whole cache of
right.
metering in for that.
Right.
I would be doing it diagnostically and smartly. So I'd probably bring it to a threshold where I say, okay, this is my hot zone or whatever it might be. And if it starts beeping, well, then my hot zone just expanded.
Yeah.
Or something's going wrong.
Yeah, and something I'm doing, I need to stop because I just made it a lot worse.
Yeah, and this is way beyond. I don't even want us to start chatting about toxic and flammable atmospheres that we're doing in level A. I'm not even going to say you can or you can't. That is a conversation for another day. So, are you good with that?
I agree 100%.
All right, because I don't think we can wrap it up in time.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. All right, so once we've figured out whether or not we're taking our meters and we're doing all that, you want to take really good notes of the actions that you're doing and what things look like. All right? You're most likely because almost every level A job I've done has been a multiple entry level A. So I need to relay information to the next team going in, or I want really good information if I'm the next team going in. So either way, you need to take really good notes, and you need to be very articulate as far as what you did, what still needs to be done, maybe something that you tried that didn't work. All that stuff,
and
really important.
if you can, take a job phone. I'm going to say that again. Take a job phone. Whatever your department gives you, an iPad or whatever, or a camera, take that. Do not take yours, because if it blows up or it gets melted, it's yours and it's gone. So maybe put it in a bag and take it in there and take pictures of what you saw. So when you come outside, you go to the cold zone, you say, here's where you are, here's where you're going to go, this is the shape of the valve, and you might be able to, like, all right, that was a square nut. I can bring the crescent wrench as opposed to the, you understand what I'm saying? So a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I highly recommend, if it can be done, do it. So let's wrap this up with a little bit of a doffing, which I think is so funny, because there's donning and doffing. Why did they put a D in front of on and off? But whatever. So make sure you have to follow your
Because
authority.
offing just doesn't sound good.
It sounds like stupid.
It sounds something a gangster does. What are you doing today? I'm going offing.
I'm going to off it. It sounds great. Make sure that you follow your AHJ procedures. And the AHJ is the authority having jurisdiction. And it's basically your boss. Your chief or your commissioner sets up these procedures that you will abide by as an employee. But for the most part, following it's a good idea, because those AHJ really can't conflict too much with NFPA 472 or 29 CFR 1910-120 or even EPA. So know your rules, but the AHJ is pretty much in alignment, right?
Yeah, and whether or not they are or not, not that they're not. They may have slight variations to their procedures, right? But for the most part, they're going to follow these 4, pretty solid guidelines. So these are the 4 we're going to touch on, because we don't, like, if I go into our procedures, they could be totally different than your technical procedures. So, but for the most part, you're going to do stuff like don't touch the outside of your suit.
Right. And don't stand over the bench or the seat you'll sit down on once your suit comes off, because if you're dripping on top of it and you got your nice clean pants on and you get the chemical down your pants, you got a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And in that same regard, as far as dripping, because remember, we're coming out of a decon. Granted, it may be an air decon or something like that, but if you've gotten wet, you're going to be dripping all over the place. So when you do take it off and you step out of the suit, make sure that you have a dry spot to put your feet, because you don't want to be stepping on the wet stuff that just came off your level A, especially like if you were doing a corrosive.
Yeah, and the last part, commonly overlooked, but it's incredibly important, is take a nice deep breath and hold it when you remove your face piece, and hold it all the way until you get back to the firehouse. It's a little bit difficult, but it will pay off. No, I'm totally joking. I'm totally joking. Don't do that, because you're going to have pass
9
out
guys
everywhere.
pass out tomorrow. We're responsible. Jesus
Don't do that. Just take a nice deep breath, hold it, pop off your face piece, walk a couple of steps away, and then you can let out your breath. But you want to get away from that stuff. And last, and I'm serious, this is so important, wash your hands and wash your face.
Well, that wraps up another episode of the Hazmat Guys.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube channel at The Hazmat Guys. And take a moment to call our comment hotline at 843-628-1484.
We are always looking forward to your feedback about information or interesting incidents that you were part of. So send us a note at feedback@thehazmatguys.com.
And remember, guys, don't just get on the job, get into the job.